Hey YouTube, it's your boy Mizuki, back in another video, and in today's video, as you already know, Peroxide has been booming with clout, especially ever since the release of the Halloween update. In fact, I already tackled one big addition given to us by this update, which was the introduction of the new Wongus race, or the Wongus curse. Go check out the video. But in today's video, I decided to talk about a trait of this update that not many people have discussed yet. That being the Halloween accessories. Peroxide has recently introduced 7 new accessories that, as you already know, I decided to order in their respective ranks. Now, all y'all know at this point that it's a tradition that I create time segments for my videos. The first part in the time segments will be the background and how to receive these accessories. The second part will be the actual ranking and rationale behind the ranks. And lastly, I'll cap off with a nice outro. Note that before making these videos, as I always do, I shared my opinion with the active members, as well as the mods, the content creators, and the Peroxide Encyclopedia, the Trello. So don't worry, this info is 99% legit and confirmed. Now anyways, without wasting any more time, let's hop right into the video. Now right off the bat, there are 3 different categories of accessories in this update. There's the Hellverse items, the Halloween items, and the Wongus items. Wongus items, yes. So when it comes to the Hellverse items, there are currently 2. 2 items that are dropped from playing the boss. The first one is received upon killing Ichigo. You receive the Witch's Hat. It's not guaranteed, but there's a very good chance you can get it in the first try. Then we got the Hell's Executioner, which looks so sick and gives very good boosts. But you can get it by 1.5 chance from Hellverse Ichigo if you spawn him, and a 1 out of 77 chance if somebody else in your server does. Now the next 4 drops drop the same. It just depends on your luck in terms of which one you receive. The 4 pumpkins with different faces all have a 1% drop rate from a holo wearing this pumpkin during the Halloween of 2023. You basically gotta kill a holo that's wearing a pumpkin, and you have a 1% chance of getting either of the 4. And lastly, we got the Wongus curse, which is basically just a weird looking shroom that's placed on your head. It is obviously obtained by collecting 7,777 Wongus, a lot. And I discussed this in my other video, and turning them into the Harvester NPC during the Halloween of 2023. Note that you can't take off this mushroom, that's why most people aren't going for it, because it looks goofy. But anyways, now with the basics out of the way, moving on to the ranking. Now in terms of ranking, it's really all based on stats. This time around though, I'm putting appearances aside and mainly focusing on their perks. And right off the bat, we got the highlight of the entire event as our first accessory, the Hell's Executioner. So now, I love the Hell's Executioner, and despite the fact that I don't rock Kurosaki clan, this clan still gives hella perks. For example, its stat boost being this outfit grants 24 spirit, 24 strength, and 30% better Ryotsu regen. Very solid stats, and it's funny how there's actually people out there who got less than 20 strength in their entire strength section and like max out their spirit or vitality, and vitality, while this accessory could low-key give them more than twice as much as, the strength they already have, or the spirit, whatever they kind of exclude out. And that's also has a crazy Ryotsu regen thing, which is great for mid PvPs. Another cool perk that's hella, why did I say hella? Another cool perk that Hell's Executioner grants is if you're in a Kurosaki clan and have the Getsuga Tensho, not only does it change the color to orange, but also upon impact will start burning your opponent, which is just so OP, ranking this accessory in the S tier. Now the Witch's Hat. Now the next accessory we got on this list is, I already said it, the Witch's Hat, which is granted to you from the Hellverse raid. It's obviously given upon killing Ichigo, but that's not why I like it so much, despite the fact that it's pretty easy to receive it. Like, I know some people that received this hat on their first raid. It gives some pretty good perks. The perks being this item gives 8 spirit and 30% better Ryotsu regen. The 8 spirit and the 30% better Ryotsu regen can go a long way in the battle. And the other thing that I appreciate about this accessory is that it's not as absurd looking as the ones coming up. A little spoiler alert. Again, I did promise that I won't throw looks into the rankings, but that's just something to keep in mind. Its easiness to obtain and very fair stats it provides the player with will land this accessory in the A tier. Moving on. Now, the next accessory we got on this list is the Pumpkinhead series. Note that despite the fact that they're all obtained in the same way, they all have different perks, some being better than the other, and stat boosts, and obviously looks for the most part. Now, the normal Pumpkinhead's stat boosts are pretty mediocre. Despite the rarity, the stats it grants aren't anything spectacular and crazy. That being, this legendary item gives 7 spirit and 7 strength, which, don't get me wrong, is nice. I mean, stat boosts are stat boosts, but it's relatively low compared to that of the Witch's Hat, which grants you a lot more and is a lot easier to receive than a normal pumpkin, putting it in the B tier. Now, the next up on this list is the Sad Pumpkinhead, and this is where my luck part kind of kicks in. Despite the fact that they're obtained the same way, the stats vary hard. For example, yeah, it grants you 7 strength and 7 spirit, so like the normal one, but it also gives you a 10% better Ryatsu regen, which is literally just an extra perk from the normal Pumpkinhead. It's funny how fair and unfair this is, because it simply comes down to your luck on what you get first. You have a 1% chance of receiving a Pumpkinhead that's either a high A tier, and a 1% chance of receiving one that's pretty booty compared to the one in the A tier. Weird. Anyways, this slight addition will still land this Pumpkinhead in the B tier, just the high B, higher than the normal one. Moving on. Now, this is the only part where you'll ever have me judging based on looks, since the sad Pumpkinhead and the Menos Pumpkin have literally the same stat boost. It's an identical accessory, basically, just looks different. So I've always been fascinated with the lore behind Menos, placing in the top B tier. Now moving on to the Pumpkinhead that I was bragging about previously. This Pumpkinhead is just so much better than the other two, despite the fact that you have the same odds of receiving this insane one compared to the other three, the Skeleton Pumpkinhead. The stat boosts say this legendary item gives 7 spirit, 7 strength, and hold on, wait, 70% better Ryatsu regen. So one, not only does this Pumpkinhead look all the more sick, but it also gives you 60% better Ryatsu regen or more than the Sad and the Menos set, altogether equaling to 70%, which is basically a landslide larger than Hell's Executioner. Funny thing is, this is the first Pumpkinhead that I received during this update. It was after my 5th holo kill, and I got this drop. The luck is actually wild. I probably depleted my entire luck bank just to get this head, especially on such a recent kill. It only took me 5 holos. But anyways, with this extreme stat boost surplus, it will land this pumpkin in the high A tier, even above the Witch's Hat, because of how many more perks it got. Now moving on, we got ourselves the one and only, the Wongus hat. Note that this is the last one on this list. This hat is low-key the highlight of the entire update, even more of a highlight than the Hell's Executioner, due to the fact that it's basically a limited time edition of a new race, and despite the fact that it's difficult to get, somebody in my previous video in the comment section mentioned that it's better that it's harder to get since less people will have access to it. That was a valid argument, so I won't judge it on how difficult it is to receive, but upon receiving it, this curse, you will be granted the following boosts. This curse gives the player 60% better Ryatsu regen, 20 Ryatsu, 50 agility, however it takes away 4 vitality. Keep in mind, once transformed, the user cannot go back. Those are the exact words that the Trello says. So anyways, the 60% Ryatsu regen, the 20 Ryatsu, the 50 agility, and despite the fact that it takes away only 4 vitalities, these are still very valid stat boosts. This race is by far the most rewarding, despite its appearance. This quote-unquote accessory is very strong and is very beneficial, landing in the high S tier, above Hell's Execution. Now listen, this is probably the only video where I won't justify the flip side and how some of these accessories are better than the other in like certain scenarios. I mean, the pumpkins are better than each other because they just got better stats, with the exception of the Menace and the Sad Pumpkin. That was personal. And obviously Hell's Executioner with the amount of stat boosts it grants. Unfortunately, the Wongus Curse does top that by a wide margin. Regardless though, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video and learned something new. Now, like, sub, all the proper things, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.